A new edition of D&D is coming out. Half of an edition, actually. Well, it's not really half either, more like a quarter. Should you buy the new 5+1/4 edition that took Wizards of the Coast 10 years to make? I think, with all due respect, that is an irrelevant question. We are not here to discuss the content of the new 5th edition DLC. It's only a rulebook. I'd like to raise a different question. What is the point of D&D rules in the first place? D&D rules are there to help players and DMs have fun. Fun is why we gather at the table to periodically be schizo together. We don't remember our discussions about rules when we play the game. Unless Steve here decided to quote PHB page 234 last time you cast Dissonant Whispers on a goblin.
Actually, it says here that the creature doesn't move into obviously dangerous terrain, which a pool of lava actually is.
You know what? F you, Steve. You know who you are. No, we remember the epic moments that made us feel. In one of our campaigns, players fought a mechanical Duergar dragon that was set to destroy everything in 10 towns. It was more like 3 towns by the time they faced it. When the dragon was sufficiently battered, the group's paladin noticed a gap in the armor and Misty stepped inside. After drinking a haste potion, they proceeded to sow chaos upon the dragon's mechanical innards, showing it what it feels like to chew 5 gum after a late night of white Russians and birria tacos. I didn't even ask to roll for attack, because why would I? Swinging a massive sword like a maniac would hit something eventually. The dragon then took flight, trying to get away from the symphony of brass and improv drums inside that would make Skrillex howl in jealousy. But the biblical shitstorm caused by a holy warrior high on liquid crack and self-righteousness proved to be too much. The dragon combusted and fell from the sky like a meteor. The rest of the party then figured out how to get the paladin down safely using vortex warp and a wand of webs. No matter how you look at it, it's absurd. But it was one of the most epic moments of that campaign. I bent the rules for this to happen, like a lot. I didn't count falling speed because the webs wouldn't have held a dragonborn in full plate armor falling from miles of altitude. I also asked the player to roll damage, but it didn't mean anything. It was there just to create some tension. Also, I didn't take into consideration movement and space restrictions. Why would a mechanical dragon have enough space inside for a whole dragonborn to fit? Let alone swing a 2-handed sword. Those things were simply irrelevant. It didn't matter if we played 5th or 3rd edition or Pathfinder altogether at that point. I just wanted to tell a cool story and share an epic moment with our players. That's why I play D&D. So a lot of the rules I don't like, I just ignore them. Most of our games are players doing wild shit and me, as a DM, just going with it as long as it makes sense to me. What makes it worse for me is that more than half of these rules are about combat. But I don't like D&D combat that much. It's a bit of a slog. Now, before all of you rule lawyers out there decide to crucify me, hear me out. I'm not saying D&D combat is bad, although there are systems that make it way better. I found that it's way more fun this way, and rewarding to the players. Instead of combat optimization, we do story optimization. We've been doing that in our games, and I have yet to hear anyone say,
"Oh, I wish we'd had more of those 8-hour combats where I sit for 20 minutes while everyone makes their turn."
We often switch our combats out for more narrative-focused encounters, combat puzzles, and anything else that forces players to think and make difficult decisions. We prefer not to have that board gamey feel too often, that D&D combat brings to the table without having to track every single foot of movement. It keeps things dynamic and fast. Almost faster than Marvel losing its fanbase due to the narrative disaster that is Phase 4. Okay, maybe nothing is really that fast in this world. But that's why we play the game and how we have fun with it. If you generally enjoy D&D's combat, number crunching, and finding ways to break the game according to its rules, then that's great. I'm pretty sure you'll find something for yourself in the new decade in the making fractional edition. There are new class features, a few remakes, and all similar good stuff to have fun with. Something Homebrew had all along, but this is Spade, so I guess it feels more real and official. But if you play for the fun and epic story moments, do you really think a few class changes in the new 4th edition will help you achieve that? I mean, likely not. For us at our table, it's usually not about what a class can do, but about its fantasy. We have combat every 4 or 5 sessions, sometimes less often. I know, heresy. And the rules can bend around that. They are secondary to fun. Of course, the world needs to feel real, so there are some rules, but those can be interpreted differently. D&D will always be D&D. If you feel tired of it and think this new edition will be a breath of fresh air, well, don't hold your breath. If you want something extra fresh, you can try something fundamentally different like Pathfinder. Its action economy and progression, in my opinion, is way better. It's also designed to tell a better story. You could also try Call of Cthulhu. Its D100 system is completely backwards. It's great, like seriously, you need to roll below your given DC. Who does that shit? I'm looking at you, Warhammer nerds. No, but seriously, the edition that is 3/4 short of anything substantial will not give you a feeling of wonder and awe, unless you have that golden retriever energy, which, in that case, right on, we depressor endurers envy you. Now, I personally will probably buy this new edition myself. Yes, after shitting on it in between the lines for the whole video so far, my hypocrisy is finally manifest. But why, you ask? Say it with me. I am a slave to consumerism, and capitalism is my righteous overlord. But it's also because I like reading these books. It might give me a few bits and pieces that I like to add to already Frankenstein of a system that is my D&D game. So if you're still considering whether to buy the 5.5 edition, how about this? If you're like me and want to just have all of these stupid books even though you might never use any of them, hell yeah, go for it. But if you think the edition might fix your game, then there are way better and free ways to do that. Like how BG3 improved on many aspects on D&D and how you can do the same. We're also planning to have many more videos about improving your D&D experience in the future, so you could subscribe to like get notified when they appear or something. And heart to heart, if they don't fix your D&D games and give you the will to live, you can have your money back. Not that you've spent anything. Yet. So far doesn't buy me a coffee.